The Incredibles 2 is a very well-loved film for several reasons, but its villain isn't one of them. Evelyn Deavor's character has been heavily criticized for her role as a twist villain, both because she is too obvious as a villain, and because her motivations just seem really muddled and incoherent. As to the first complaint, I have to agree. Evelyn is just way too obvious to be a twist villain. Truth be told, when I first saw this movie in theaters, I thought Evelyn was going to be a red herring and that the brother was going to be the twist villain, and Evelyn would have to decide between loyalty to her brother and doing the right thing. But as the film progressed, I realized that wasn't happening, and I wasn't the least bit surprised when Evelyn came out as the villain. There's just no shock value. Now, that could still have worked in the story if Evelyn were a villain like Scar or Jafar, someone the audience knows is a villain even if most of the other characters don't. But they didn't do that, so never mind. The problem of motivation, on the other hand, is somewhat trickier. Her goal is ultimately to make superheroes illegal because she blames her father's over-reliance on them for his death. But at the beginning of the film, superheroes are still illegal, so her plan is to help her brother and Elastigirl make them legal again before turning the tables and destroying their reputation to make them illegal again. Why is this plan so convoluted? Well, this actually makes more sense if we look at Evelyn's character from a psychological point of view. She never outright says it, but Evelyn clearly hates superheroes with a passion because she admittedly blames them for the death of her father.
He died. Pointlessly. Stupidly. Waiting for heroes to save the day.
Interestingly, during her introduction scene, Evelyn points out that her father could have survived if he had chosen to go into the safe room. It's almost like Evelyn can't bring herself to really blame her father for his own choices, so she blames supers because it's easier. So, her desire to make superheroes legal, only to make them illegal again, seems to come down to her wanting revenge on them for her father's death. It's a case of the bigger they are, the harder they fall. She doesn't just want to prevent supers from becoming legal again, she wants to rip their hope of becoming legal away from them just when they seem to be at a point of success. She doesn't just want to crush them, she wants to see them scream and writhe in agony too, the way she likely did when her father died. Sure, it's a really risky and complicated plan, but there's emotional payout. And besides, risky and convoluted definitely fits a character who is insane as Evelyn clearly is. Now, all of that might sound psychologically interesting. Problem is, none of it is actually stated in the film itself. I'm having to piecemeal all of this based on things that Evelyn says and her attitude. Since the film doesn't make her say that she wants to destroy their hopes just at the point of fruition, I'm left merely theorizing it to rationalize her actions. In other words, I'm doing the writer's job for them. Never a good thing. Moreover, this sort of convoluted plan could work fairly well if this were a psychological thriller of some kind, but it doesn't work too well in a family-oriented superhero movie. Not that a movie like The Incredibles can't have some depth to it, but the audience is mostly here for some superpowered action, not psychoanalysis. Maybe in a live-action Batman film this sort of character could work, though I hope the execution would be a lot better in a Batman film. But in an animated film that was clearly intended to appeal to children as well as adults, this sort of twisted psychology just doesn't jive well with what they're expecting. You need a villain whose goal is straightforward, even if the plan to get there is a little bit complicated. This character and this film just don't go together at all.
So that's it. Thanks for watching. God bless.